Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here to recognize the 70 years the Hawthorne Veterans of Foreign War Post 2075 has given to the veterans of the community, and the community along with the ladies of our auxiliary who are celebrating their 69th year. The main goal of VFW is veterans helping veterans. Members believe in national security and also sponsor many local national projects designated to broaden public appreciation of democracy and Americanism. The VFW helps in legislation on benefits to all veterans in medical care, education, aiding in employment, and the GI Bill of Rights, plus medical rehabilitation, and to help aid in legal claims for all veterans. Brief history of Hawthorne Post 2075. For those of you that have been around the city for a while, you might or might not recognize some of the names. But in the spring of 1931, Benjamin F. Brown, who was the city judge, William T. Deal, who was the chief of police, and James L. Gilland, along with Joseph S. Mackey, who were both city councilmen at that time, received permission from the national organization to organize a post of the Veterans of Foreign Wars in the city of Hawthorne. On the 4th day of April, 1931, at Jones, what was called Jones Hall, I can't tell you where that was. O.T. Mahaney, who was Department Chief of Staff for the Veterans of Foreign Wars at the time, instituted the post as 2075, with 27 veterans being chartered members. Our original charter is hanging up over here. You can see it with the date on it. James L. Gilland, who was a Spanish-American War veteran, was elected the first commander of the post, and he successfully guided it through the trials and tribulations that any new post goes through during the first year. With only $17.67 in the general fund, the post found it necessary to meet in places such as schoolrooms, courtrooms, and the fire station. In the summer of 1931, the commander named Comrades Brown and Mackey and Deal as the first building committee, giving them institutions to find a suitable location for future home of the post. The location they found was an old deserted cement water tank, which you are now in, on 131st Street here, located at what was this hill that you're on now was known as the historical Sentinel Hill. Because the property in Hawthorne had little value at that time, an agreement
that was before I was married.
An agreement was made with the city to lease the lot for 25 years at a cost of $25 or $1 a year, with the option to buy the land at a later date. Blueprints were drawn on the building with hopes of having it on the property in the future. The blueprints had the tank in the middle with a wing on each side, and it originally replicated an old Spanish fort out in front. Veterans armed with sledgehammers, acetylene torches, cut windows and doors through the steel reinforcement tank. This tank is all steel and concrete reinforced, so it took them many, many hours just to cut one doorway out here. It was usually done on a weekend, and the ladies' auxiliary also provided food for the veterans while they worked. A roof was put on the tank, and a wood floor was constructed. The ladies' auxiliary was welcomed into the building on August 24th of 1932. The first president of ladies' auxiliary was Jessie Gilland, the wife of the post first commander. So they kept it in the family. For some years, the Post Auxiliary took turns using the large hall for their meetings. The tank, as it was called, was used this way for several years before the first east and west wings were added, which is over here and where the bar is over on the other side. So they used this center tank for everything. They just traded off. With these wings, when the wings were built, the roof of the main hall was raised higher, and adjoining property was purchased, which is where this parking lot is on this side over here. And hardtop for the parking lot was laid. The building and property by this time was owned outright by the VFW. During World War II, material was picked up wherever it could be found to build the first wing, which was built especially for the auxiliary between 1943 and 45. As you can imagine, there were many differences of opinion between the building manager and the auxiliary. The auxiliary finally wound up finishing the plumbing, the tile work, and the floors for themselves. During the Second World War, the Post turned over the hall to the United States Army, where the members found that soldiers sent here to protect the community were sleeping in mud pup tents up on the side of the hill. So they brought them here, and this was like a barracks during World War II. The gesture paid off in membership when the soldiers went overseas, and many of them later became members of the Post. That's a short history of the Post and the auxiliary. As you can see, you are sitting inside of a tank, for those of you who haven't been here. And there's an oddity about this. If you see the ball up above you on the ceiling, that's the exact center of the tank. And if you haven't done it, when we're finished with the meeting, if you go stand under the ball and talk, you get quite an echo, which bounces off all the walls back to the center. At this time, I would like to introduce the Honorable Larry Guidi, Mayor of the City of Hawthorne.
You guys don't. I should be standing for you. It's a great honor to be invited again by the veterans. It's become a very special part in my heart. In the last 10 years, I've been a strong supporter because I've seen what you've done to protect us and protect our nation. And once again, we're getting close to our holidays, and we see that a foreign country is holding our troops, and the president walking on eggshells. It saddens me to see that the respect that was once given to this country is gone, to see our past presidents not taking full responsibility. So that brings us, for at least 70 years till today, we knew we had strong supporters in our veterans to protect us and continue to protect us. And when Steve invited us to be here at a council meeting and come, I decided that I would blank out my calendar to make sure I am here in town. And there's two kind of special things in this year that I do. This morning, through our cable TV, we were at the Richstone Center having an Easter egg hunt for the local kids. Most of you know the east side of town is pretty impoverished, and they don't get to see a lot of things as we see. So we wanted to make sure, rain or shine, our cable crew was there, and a lot of children showed up. And the second thing is anything that the veterans do, because whatever we give back to the veterans give back to us in twofold. So I wanted to make sure that the city was represented here today, because nothing's worse than hearing the chime of the bell of knowing that we've either lost a veteran or a veteran's not home. It's just as bad as the city not supporting you. So it is my great honor to present your commander and the veterans of all veterans of foreign war, Hawthorne Post 2075, this proclamation, which gives me great honor. On this day, and I'll read the bottom part of it. The Hawthorne City Council does formally recognize and thank the men and women of the Hawthorne Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 2075 for the 70 years of excellent achievements that they've accomplished as one of our community primary good neighbors. Does proudly proclaim Saturday, April 7, 2001, the Hawthorne Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 2075 Day in the city of Hawthorne, fitting tribute to their achievements. The 7th day of April, on behalf of my colleagues, Mayor Pro Tem Ginny Lambert, Council Members Steve Anderson, Mark Schoenfeld, and Roy McNally. Congratulations to all of you. Continue to support us and keep us safe and peace, and God be with all of us. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.